SSB. Good morning, guys.
Not too much spit noise in there?
No, sounds perfect.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was listening to myself on another receiver. It sounded like there was a lot of wind noise on my highs, but I guess it's not coming through on your end.
Yeah, maybe just a tiny bit, but hardly noticeable.
All right, good. W6MQI, standing by.
Yeah, I would concur. I hear some nuance there, but it certainly isn't a carbon mic for sure.
Bravo, Charlie Tango.
Good morning, Bill. M6BC K0DWC SSB. Very strong up here.
Looks like there's some net control coming in.
Still good. 100 mils. Good old 100 mils. K6QK on frequency.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a good time to get the net started. I heard Rich in there, K6QK. And this is WA7YBS, and this is the Vintage Military Radio Net, and it's a roundtable AM net. It, well, it doesn't have to be AM. You can check in with whatever mode you want. We'll try to accommodate. Anyway, the Vintage Military Radio Net's a roundtable AM net that allows hams an opportunity to run their vintage military radio equipment on the air. Reassign numbers as you check in, eases the handoff, make things easy for the net control guy, which is me today. WA7YBS, Henry in Dane Valley, Nevada. And so, in the number 1 spot, we have Rich, KE6QK, Kilo, King, Queen King. So anyway, let's see who else is out there and wants to check into the Vintage Military Radio Net. Number 2 is open. Go ahead now.
K6 VXY is here.
And Whiskey 7, Mike Sierra, W7MS.
W6 SSP.
W6 MQI.
Okay. In the number 2 spot, we have Vern, K6VXY. Good morning, Vern. In the number 3 spot is Mike, W7MS. Morning, Mike. In the number 4 spot is Steve, W6SSP. Good morning, Steve. In the number 5 spot is Bill, Bill. In the number spot, sorry about that, Dave. Number 5 spot's W6MQI, Dave. Good morning, Dave. In the number 6 spot is Bill, W6N6BCT. I'm having a hard time with the time change, as you can tell. Anyway, N6BCT, Bill, Half Moon Bay is number 6. Good morning, Bill. Let's see if there's a number 7 out there. Number 7 is open, and you can check in now.
KB0W, Kilo Bravo 0 Whiskey, Frank.
Yeah, good morning, Frank. KB0W. You're number 7 with a good strong signal as usual from up there by Fallen Leaf Lake. Number 8 is open. If you want to check in, the Vintage Military Radio Net, be number 8. It is open, and you can check in now. Go ahead. Okay, there's a little weak station in there. I can't copy them, but I can hear you're in there. Anybody else know who that is? Go ahead.
That was Robert, W7MKA.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Well, I'll go ahead and put you as number 8. And we'll see what happens. Maybe we can copy you a little better as things progress. But anyway, number 9 is open. If you want to check in, first go around and be number 9. Check in now. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'll read the list here real quick. Well, let me make a transmission with all the particulars. It was 30 degrees this morning. It's clear. And I'm on the KWS-1, running 150 watts of carrier power, upper sideband reinserted carrier. The antenna is a collinear array. The microphone is the Electro-Voice 664. And the receiver is the Collins 75A4. So that's the rundown. Here's the list. Number 1 is Rich, KE6QK. Number 2 is Vern, K6VXY. Number 3 is Mike, W7MS. Number 4 is Steve, W6SSP. Number 5 is Dave, W6MQI. Number 6 is Bill, N6BCT. Number 7 is Frank, KB0W. And number 8 is Robert, W7MKA. So, over to Vert. I get it. I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time with the time change. I hate going to standard time. Over to Rich, KE6QK, WA7YBS. Go ahead.
WA7YBS and the group, KE6QK. Good morning to all. We don't have a weather report this morning, but it's cold. The rig here has not changed. We've been working on some microphones, but they're not ready yet. Still using the 1961 control magnetic microphone I bought as a teenager. We're using the DX100B transmitter, and the receiver is a Drake R8, the first digital receiver made in 1991. And the antenna is a trap dipole, which is totally flat on 3974. We got 10 people here, so I'm not going to keep it. Let's pass it down. All your signals are good so far. K0DWC, KE6QK. Pick it up, Vern.
Okay, will do. Turn down the volume on the receiver. And there goes the current. Drop it down, that's good. Don't understand that. And for net controls information, I'm running the world famous D104. It's an unamplified mic, but I've got your fan. The Infinity different things. I've got a variable speed control in it. I'm running it at about 50% because I'm not sure if it makes some noise if it's being picked up at all. So I've got those wonderful 6146s getting cooled with a nice black fan there. And the speed control's handy. I saw it online there, and I believe I got the right one. Everything you said about it, something about Infinity and the website. Oh, I know. Well, this Vern is K6VXY, Groveland, California, or Pine Mountain Lake. Let's see, the AC control is made by, this is Axial fan series, metal muffin fans. I'm reading off the box that it came in, and there was something about Infinity on the, AC Infinity, the black label here, and then the speed controller for everybody is kind of neat. You can turn it on and off with this controller. It goes right to the fan. You don't even need the cord that comes with the fan, I found out. And you run that controller to whatever your power source is, and then you turn it on, and then you got a low, medium, and a high setting, and everything in between. And it's AC Infinity also. I guess that's, I don't know if that's a manufacturer or what, but it's nice, it's small, it works, it's wonderful. Antenna is a 120-foot dipole, mostly straight pointing, favoring the north-south direction from here, which for me I think comes pretty close to Carson City. You guys are all coming in good. I don't have signal reports yet. Boy, I'm modulating pretty well right now. How much power am I kicking up? Oh yeah, a lot. So if I got the mic gain up too much, let me know and I'll fix that. It's real easy. It's this audio, the wonderful old-fashioned expression. It says audio gain, and that's how you can set your mic level. Audio. Let me look at that. It's dark. Audio gain? Yeah. Drive tune. All those kind of wonderful words. Pete Kit Marauder, and receiving on the ICOM. And we're up an hour later. This is usually when we close the net, so I don't know how the signals are going to hold up, so I'll make it quick. Just had to talk about the fan. W7MS, Mike, go ahead. You guys are all coming in real good here. K6VXY. Well, good morning, Vern. Good morning, Vern. And good morning to everyone on frequency. And that would include Rich, Dave, Bill, Frank, Robert, and of course Henry. Good morning to you, Henry. I think I've got it all. But signals are okay, and I would concur with Henry's comments on standard time. I hate the time change, and I can't wait for late this afternoon around 5 o'clock when it's so dark 30. It's so it's such a
mental challenge, mental health challenge, but happens every year, that's for sure. So good signals to this point, and I'll keep it relatively short and not too much information. I'll give the equipment rundown. In commemoration of the LA Dodgers win in the World Series, we're running the Royal Canadian Air Force ATR 11, year 1945, serial number 0613. It's a receiver transmitter, runs a pair of 1625s by 1625s, and kind of like the comments that Henry had made on some of the other Commonwealth equipment, this was like an all-in-one between the accessory beacon receiver, etc., DF loops. It was one shebang in one box, but we've got it attenuated by a 3 dB attenuator that's driving the usual 30S1 to about 250 watts of carrier power. Microphone is a amplified D104, since keeping with what was generally the specifications for the Commonwealth countries, dynamic microphones, or possibly dynamic or carbon microphones of choice, say for example in the ART-13, but that's good enough. And Rich, I heard you call me at the end of the net last week. My apologies for not responding, but it's the standard excuse, and it is the correct excuse. I had the heaters off on the transmitter, but I did hear you. So with that, over to Steve. Good morning, Steve. W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, very good, and thank you. Good morning to everybody. W7MS, W6SSP. Just north of Santa Rosa, using the usual equipment, the Collins 32V1 transmitter, putting out 85 watts into a dipole about 30 feet up, and the matching 75A1 receiver, both from 1946-47, where there's bouts. Driven by an unamplified D104 microphone. So yeah, conditions aren't quite as good as they have been, but we're an hour later, so that's how it goes. Things will improve as we get further into winter, I'm sure. Somebody sent me a really interesting article this past week. It's a spy set that was made in Czechoslovakia during World War II. And what it is something I've never heard of before. Maybe you guys have. It's an adapter that plugs into a table radio, into the audio tube socket. And what it does is it converts the radio into a transmitter, a low-powered transmitter. Pretty neat. I just never heard of anything quite like that. Doing a little more research on it, and see, other people did it too, but pretty neat thing, and I think I just might have to build something like that. I've got a 1940 RCA radio, table radio coming in one of these days from a friend that's kind of downsizing a little bit, and it's only a 4-tube radio with an I-tube and a rectifier, but it might be a perfect specimen for trying something like this. It'd be kind of interesting to try to describe that on the ham bands what you're using. That'd be a real kick. Anyway, it'll be a fun project. So let's see, we'll send on down to, where's it go? Dave, W6MQI, W6SSP.
All right, W6SSP, W6MQI. Good morning to all. I'm hearing everybody except for Robert up in the Grants Pass, I think is where he's at. Didn't hear him at all, but everybody sounded good here in Livermore. And we are on the TCS setup today with a modified RS-38 microphone with the EWS-94 element inside of it. So I appreciate some audio reports on it. The RS-38 kind of comes in 3 pieces. You got a cap, a center section that holds the element, and then the back half has the push-to-talk mechanism. I removed the front two half, the original ones, and I drew up on CAD and 3D printed the cap and the center section to hold the microphone element. And man, I got to pat myself on the back. It looks really good. I think if somebody were walking by and saw the microphone sitting on the desk, they wouldn't even know the difference. Turned out really well. So again, I'm proud about that. And then let's see, I finally joined the exclusive club that all you guys belong to. It took me 43 years, but I finally was allowed entry. As of Thursday, I'm officially retired. So, a little bit of a shocker still, but it's going to be weird waking up Monday morning not having to go anywhere. So anyway, let's see who's next here. Bill, N6BCT, W6NQI.
Yeah, W6NQI, and I did hear W7NQI on the personal receiver, which I'm using as a receiver. So because I've got a tip and goes on my regular radio. In case you have extra, what is it? Thing that converts the DC into AC from PCD. Anyway, it's extra inverter. That's what it is. Inverter, and it's been installed, and they never took it out, and it creates noise. Anyway, it's over here. KBW, I believe, and 6 Tango.
Go ahead, Frank. Bill turned it over to you. KB0W, go ahead.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. N6BCT in Half Moon Bay, KB0W here in South Lake Tahoe. Good morning, everybody. And just do my one and done transmission here because of the noise level, which seems to be a little worse with the time change. And it's Frank running the same old here. I amplified D105 microphone and a 4400 modulated by two 811s. I've got about 350 watts out into a dipole antenna, an 80-meter dipole, up at about 65 feet between two sugar pines, and it's facing, it's aligned north-south with the north end almost touching a high voltage power line, which sort of explains the noise level. Anyways, this is how God made it, and this is how it shall be. I was actually rooting for the Canadian team last night because spent most of my professional career working for a Toronto company, and really like the Canadians. Anyways, that's another story. So doing a little bit of CW during the week and on 40 meters, and that's pretty much my amateur radio life. It's a lot of fun doing the Sunday morning radio, though. So I'm going to turn it over to, I think it's Henry, but there may be another station after me, so I don't know who to turn it over to, which is usual for me. And good morning to everybody, and if the noise doesn't get any worse, I might stay on for one more transmission, but if not, 73 until next week. So Henry, over to you, or whoever it is that is supposed to take it. This is KB0W in South Lake Tahoe.
Okay, Frank. we'll check on you on the next go-around. It goes over to Robert, W7MKA. So, Robert, go ahead.
All right. WA7YBS in the group, W7MKA. We're in the microphone that we do very well here. We're not in the usual location. I told you these buildings about 60 miles up and down from Roseburg, which is where I hang out during the week. Kind of got stranded here. On the ART-13 with the listening on DC 348, maybe 100 watt carrier or something like that. But keep it short. Right up the top. Back up to the top.
Okay, Robert, W7MKA, WA7YBS. Yeah, it was a solid copy. And running an ARC-8 station there, ART-13 BC 348. Okay. Yeah, you aren't extremely strong, but Q5. I'd say about S6 or so. No problem. So very good. And Dave, fitting one of those EMS 94s into an RS-38 mic case. I tried that, but yeah, it doesn't fit. I was kind of wondering when you said that you did that, how you got that element to fit in there. Well, you explained it. You 3D printed it, that little section between the front and the back there where the push-to-talk stuff is. Yeah, I have a really nice RS-38B that is not noise canceling. It's got like 7 holes in the front mouthpiece there instead of the usual 3 noise canceling type. But I tried to fit that EMS 94 in there, and it just barely won't fit. So anyway, way to do it. It sounded good to me, and I assume that you're on your RS-38 that you're using, that it's the 3-holer noise canceling, and if it is, it sounds good. So anyway, let's see, Rich, DX100B sounds fine. The Shure microphone sounds like it's the microphone that you always use. Vern's doing quite well in here, and yeah, good on the AC Infinity fan. Yeah, they're cheap, and they're hey, German ball bearings. What can you say? They are good fans. And Mike running the Canadian stuff. Yeah, the aircraft stuff. He always has to do like double duty or triple duty. Got to have homing capabilities. Maybe some true direction capabilities, and the whole schmear, communications, you name it, got to do it all. And good to Steve on the expected equipment coming in, and Bill doing fine, and Robert doing fine, up from a different location too. And so anyway, let's see if there's anybody else that wants to check in. Number 9 is open. If you want to get into the Vintage Military Radio Net here and check in, do it now. Okay. Let me adjust carrier here just a sec. Okay. That ought to be a little better. If you're wondering where Chuck is, K0DWC, he's burning weeds. I talked to him yesterday, and he got a burn permit, and you got to start early. I mean, it's at dawn is when the burn permit starts, and you got to be done by noon. So that's what he's doing. He said he might be here, but if he wasn't, that was what he was going to be doing, is burning weeds. So with that, let's start round 2, and we'll turn it we'll try to pick up Frank there. So Bill, N6BCT, be sure to turn it to KB0W, and we'll see if Frank will still be there when it's his turn. So let's go back up to number 1, up to Rich, over to Rich, KE6QK. And one of these days, well, it's only been a few hours, but I'm with you, Mike. Yeah, do one or the other, preferably daylight savings time, and leave it. I mean, this switch to standard time only accounts for 4 months. 8 months were on daylight savings time. Why not leave it there? But just an opinion. Anyway, over to Rich, KE6QK, round 2, number 5 is WA7YBS.
Reeds thing there. Burn okay on the D104. And Mike, you're one of the strong 3 here. You're 20 over. Your Canadian radio. And Roger Dodger on turning off the heaters. Well, I just had a question. And Steve on your spy radio. Sounds like an exciting thing. Dave, I'd like to comment on the TCS. I might have mentioned this before through the years, but I had a comm van up in the northeast. The Navy had a 10-ton truck with a TCS set up in there, and I towed a generator, and my duty, my monthly duty was to take the 10-ton truck and go out in the forest or go anywhere or go on the seashore and check in the COM1 net, Navy net, emergency communications. They worked very well, but I haven't seen a TCS ever since. And okay, Blair, you must have done something down there Half Moon Bay. You've been, the last couple of times, you've been stronger than you have in the past, so I don't know why that is. Maybe you fixed the antenna. K0DWC, Frank, boy, you're really getting out with that dipole at 60 feet. You're one of the top 3 here, 20 plus over 9, and very strong here in Fallon. And Robert, you say you moved locations. Your ART-13 is an S8, very copyable here, not super strong. S7, S8, but very copyable. As far as me, I'm almost finished with the restoration of the 1961 Viking Ranger. The previous owner decided to release all the smoke out of it. So it's repaired. I haven't put it on the Variac yet. I say a prayer, put it on the Variac, bring it up slowly. But at least this time I have a fuse in it, like the other guy didn't put in. That's how he let the smoke out, no fuse. Anyway, having fun this morning. Hope the band keeps up here. So we'll pass it over to Vern now. K6VXY, KE6QK. Pick it up, Vern.
Thank you. This is K6VXY. I want to say hello to everybody real quick. Good morning to Mike and Rich. Of course, Henry at neck control, and then we got Steve here. Conditions are a little weird today. We'll see. Dave, MQI, and Bill, N6BCT, and Frank, if he's still here, and then Robert. But I didn't hear Robert. I don't know why. Anyhow, I was going to say that the signals are next week. What I'm going to be doing, I'm running lower power here now. I'm going to be driving on this Marauder. I'm going to be driving either the AL811 MFJ amp or the SB200. I'm going to test both of those this week. They don't require much power, 10 watts or so, 10 to 15 watts to get at or near full output. So I don't want to hold it too long because the conditions are more like at 8 o'clock and people are fading some. So hello to everybody. And over to Mike, W7MS, the group K6VXY.
Okay, just checking the steam pressure here. K0DWC and WA7YBS. Slightly confused here, but I guess this is, we have a good excuse for a state of confusion here with the time change. Well, good reception from all. Congratulations, Dave, on officially being retired. And looking forward to that Monday morning you could sleep in, or at least attempt to change your body clock. I guess it'll take a while, but congratulations. And everybody's doing well. Nice to hear Robert on the ART-13, a little on the light side, but still there. And I'm glad he joined us this morning, based on the fact that it's going to be a challenging day, theoretically. And Steve, good job on the spy radio projects and all that's going on with that in that venue of the East Block versus the good guys, I guess. But comment here, I discovered working on the ATC-1, also known, of course, as the T47 ART-13, that the modulation transformers in my Collins ATC and the Zenith ATC-1 are slightly different, or possibly from a different manufacturer, that appeared later in the later issued ART-13s, and I've got one here which led me on my journey, which is a General Electric manufactured mod transformer. At least it says G.E.CO. So I'm assuming that's General Electric Company. And I discovered that the secondary number 2 DC resistance between the early and late transformers is significantly different, and that the all the resistance measurements, and at least the documentation I have, reflect the early transformer, which shows 170 ohms for that winding. Well, I only measured 36, which had me initially concerned that my new old stock with just a little bit of shelf or a mod transformer was defective, so I did do a mod transformer transplant, and it worked just fine in the ATC-1. Also measured a few examples between early and late transformers in the junk pile, and they all matched reality that I was seeing. So that was interesting, but I think it's anybody that's been into the ART-13 manuals, there's quite a bit of confusion between various changes in the progression of the ART-13 line, and not unusual necessarily for military manuals to have errors or lack of updates. So maybe there were even change sheets that have since disappeared, but that was an interesting observation and a very significant difference in DC resistance, which I can only justify by saying they used much larger wire in that winding for maybe product improvement purposes. But hey, what say Henry or anyone else on frequency? So over to Steve, W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, Dave. Mike, brother. W7MS, W6SSP. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with the time change as well. Never did like it. I don't know why they keep it, but who knows? You just got to deal with it, I guess. And Dave, congratulations. Forgot to say it, but congratulations on finally retiring this past week. Well, I remember when I retired the first time, when I left HP. I told everybody I was going to quit, and this was during a massive layoff where just about everybody was getting the axe. I wasn't about to wait for that to happen, but I told my wife, I told my folks and family that I was going to leave, and nobody believed me. And Monday morning rolled around, and wife said, "Well, aren't you going to go to work?" And I said, "No, I quit." That's when they finally believed me. Anyway, Dave, hope you enjoy it. I've certainly had my fun with all the extra time that's available. Let's see, radio-wise this week, about the only thing that was accomplished was running some RG8 from this position, which is a secondary operating position, to the primary position. Ran about 80 feet of RG8 from between the two. I had to go into the house anyway to replace a heating duct that had fallen off, which probably explains the high bills last year. Well, I figured while I was under there, I might as well drill another hole in the floor and run some coax. So got that done. It was a twofer. Really good to get that out of the way. I don't like going up in the attic either, but that was another possible way to run coax. By the way, guys, a tip for cutting the outer elastic layer on RG8 or RG11 or any kind of coax, I guess, that has a thick outer covering, is copper pipe or copper tubing cutters work perfect for that. For those that aren't familiar with those, it kind of looks like a C-clamp with a couple of rollers on one end and a round cutting knife on the other. And you can get a really nice, clean, precise cut that way. And if you're careful, you won't damage the inner braid at all, or the outer braid. So that worked really well. Anyway, conditions are not that great. I could not hear Robert at all. Everybody else is still Q5, but just barely hanging in there. So we'll send it down to Dave, W6MQI, W6SSP. Go ahead, Dave.
All right, W6SSP, W6MQI. Yeah, good tip there, Steve. I always took my life in my hands and used a knife. And after cutting pieces of braid off for years, I finally broke down and bought some actual kill-length cutters. So, but yeah, tubing cutter, that works. And let's see here, Henry. Yeah, I can send you some pictures on how I did it. This particular cover that I have on this one has 9 holes. Each hole is just over a 1/16 of an inch. And what I can do right now, I have another one to test, is a 3-hole, and each hole is 3/32, so stand by here and I'll put that one on. You can kind of get an idea if there's any difference. Okay, this is the 3-hole one. I can see my modulations down a little bit, just a little bit. But when I was listening to myself with the 3-hole, my voice sounded a little muffled. But so anyway, give me a 15th on that one. I'm going to switch back to the 9-hole now. Okay, there's the 9-hole. Modulation's about the same, I guess. Let's see, what else? What else have I been doing? Not much in the way of radio. I was working on this little QRP radio of mine, a QMX Plus by QRP Labs, and I've been working on a direct frequency entry, so I don't have to use the rotary encoder on the front of the radio. I'm using an Arduino and a 10 keypad, and I have an LCD, and I finally got it to work. Man, it took a lot of work to get this thing to work. I ended up having to use AI to help me write the code, but it's pretty cool. I just punch in the frequency, and it automatically changes the frequency on the radio for me via a USB cable. So two cool things happened. I got the microphone working, and I got that direct frequency input device working. So got something accomplished this week, I guess. So anyway, let's see. Over to Bill. N6BCT, W6MQI.
Good morning, all. And I'd like to tell you about someone today. I'm in the K0DWC, you see, and he was weak, but I heard him. Anyway, that's the story here. Yeah, that sounds like one out of the World Series. And I had to say, the win when I turned the radio on last night.
We're going to check and see if Frank is still there. KB0W, are you present? Go ahead, you are. Noise must have got to him. Let's go over to Robert, W7MKA. Go ahead and make a transmission there, Robert. Turn it back to me, WA7YBS. Go ahead. Okay, Robert. W7MKA, WA7YBS. Very good. What was the 73 to Frank? And, yeah, Robert, you're a little further away and down in the hole, but you're still copyable. And about like it sounds like you're going out to Fallon about the same. There, Rich was saying you're about S7, and you're about S6 here, but still Q5, which is the important thing. Okay, Dave, on the large number of holes versus the restricted noise canceling one, I can tell the difference, but not an awful lot. It's just the higher stuff, which was where the the noise, the background noise would be probably higher frequency stuff. That's attenuated with the noise canceling cup, but otherwise not an awful lot of difference. So it's surprising. And anyway, both sounded fine. Rich, on the Viking Ranger not having fuses, every Ranger I've ever seen had a Melco fused plug on the AC line, and two fuses are inserted into the Melco plug. And that's how the Ranger, and there could have been some other Johnson gear was like that. The Navigator is like that, has a Melco plug on it. And so anyway, that's what those are. I see them around all the time. And a Melco, or E-L-M-E-N-C-O-L-L, Memco with a E-L. Anyway, those were the AC plugs that were used on the Johnson gears, so that's why they don't have a chassis fuse. They're in the AC line. And Mike, on the screen winding there on the mod transformer change, yeah, I ran into that. It's on the website. I forget where exactly. Part 1 probably. Anyway, I have the DC resistances that I came across, because that one ART13 I got, the Navy one, that's a very early one, but it was converted to an ART13. And then the one I got from Tuttleman, well, the Tuttleman debris anyway, the one that was at the bottom of the pile in the Tuttleman junk pile. Anyway, that one also had the higher resistance screen winding than the mod transformer, and yeah, I noticed that too. The other thing I noticed on that is those early transformers are prone to a lot of talk back. You hear a lot of, I don't know, it sounds like rattling going on inside the mod transformer, whereas the later ones with the larger gauge wire for that particular winding, and hence the lower DC resistance, don't seem to talk back as much. But anyway, very good on discovering that, and yeah, that was the change that was never mentioned. And I wanted to mention also on Steve that the spy reader that you use to pull out the audio tube and then plug in this adapter and allows you to create a transmitter. That was a little clever device there. Yeah, the authorities come in, you say, no, that's just a broadcast set. Yeah, okay, right. Let's go ahead and do the 73 round. Frank has said 73. I think everybody's still here. Let's see if we can beat the propagation change. Over to Rich, KE6QK. This is a 73 round. Go ahead.
Very, very, very good, Henry. Well, it's changing, guys. Bill dropped down to an S5. Robert dropped down to an S5, so the band is changing. And we're getting near the end. Okay, on the Rangers having the fuse plug, I know that. Well, the two M's on both of these rings, I got a donor here that is just literally screwed up. Looks like they worked on it with a soldering gun. Just junk. But on the restore, the rest of it was in damn good condition. But with the missing fused plug, he decided, both of them decided to put zip cord in there and a regular plug off a lamp, and they didn't wire it right. I found a jumper in there. I didn't know why they put that in there, and he just smoked the whole thing. I had to take out the power transformer and the filter choke to get in there to actually rebuild it. It was kind of a hard one, and I'm hoping it's good. That's about all I have. I want to make a comment on Dave on the TCS radio and Livermore. I used to live on Alameda Drive. I had a home there in 1977, and we later moved out of, sold the house and moved up to Sacramento, and then left there and moved up to Nevada. I don't want to keep it too long. The band is changing. K6VXY, KE6QK. Go ahead.
This is K6VXY, and I didn't mention it earlier, but I got a call. No. Dave, good luck with your retirement. Yeah, Monday morning I don't remember that, but seems like you're going to find, like the rest of us, it seems like you find so much to do when you're retired you didn't know when you had time for work. So good luck with all that. And your tube testing worked out good, and the other thing I want to do here is mention that this Marauder was built by the original owner in 1962, and that was the year I was going to ET school in Great Lakes, Illinois. So that's kind of neat. I'm going to make a top for it. I did that for my DX100. I didn't use the original case, and I think I'll use half-inch particle board this time and build a top and two sides. And then I might even add another 3-inch those infinity type fans just to cool it a little more over on the high voltage side. Just a little fan shooting out the back. Anyhow, 73's to all, but the bands aren't going south. It's effectively 8:45 right now, you know, sun-wise. Anyhow, it'll get better, about 7 minutes a week. 73's to all, nice hearing you, and I'm glad I made it up. Wow. I'm turning it over to the great one there. Well, that you're all good, but the good signal guy. You're doing really well there, Mike. W7MS, K6VXY 73s.
Well, thank you, Vern, but I guess you can call me Dave, so that's okay. K0DWC and WA7YBS. Well, still good reception from all. Kind of an unexpected surprise, but I know we're pushing reality here as the sun rises. So good signals, and Vern, you actually have come up, at least for my receive here. So sounding great. Q5 plus. We'll call you a Q6 this morning on the last transmission. Fine on Steve's projects again, and Rich, their Viking Ranger Challenge. I think they, maybe just based on weight and size, they were, maybe they received more hamster tracks because they were easier to levitate and work on or destroy, but good on that. Appreciated Henry's Melco comments on the plug. I always knew those as electric fence plugs because in the old commercial hardware in Reno, they were in the electric fence section as a replacement plug for that, and I think that's, I've heard them referred to that in various venues over the years, and of course has its own safety issues, non-polarized, and but then again you've got both sides, whether it's line or neutral fuse, but that can create other safety issues, but better to have that than none. So looking forward to future updates, and also great on the TCS comments from the roundtable. Thanks, Henry, on the confirmation that yes, there have been other observations on the ART13 mod transformer. And that was my motivation, was to try the modern or the late mod transformer to eliminate that talkback in the ATC-1, and it was a different nuanced talkback. It seemed to have a wider frequency response, but much more subdued rather than this kind of rattling noise. But I did tighten up the external screws and put the original mod transformer back in there, since it felt that if it had been in there for 80 years, we'll just leave it. The only modification was the rotten grommet had to go, but it's back to rattling. So maybe it's in the modern sense, a modulation indicator. But over to Steve, 7-3 from Reno. Everybody enjoy adjusting to the time change and those clocks. Adjusting those clocks. W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, 73, Mike, W7MS, W6SSP. Yeah, let's see, a lot of good stuff going on. All you guys have neat projects going. Dave, congratulations on getting the keyboard entry going on the QMX Plus. At one point, I'd like to see if I could duplicate that with my rig here. I use it fairly often, and I usually listen at least once a day using the QMX Plus. It's such a neat little radio. Really glad I got it. I'm very impressed with it still. Let's see, the only thing that I have going on this week is taking a closer look at the primary station that I'll be using with the beam, hopefully in the not too distant future. A key part of that is bringing back up a Meritron AL80A, which I purchased many years ago off of Craigslist. I think a CBO had it, and it died, and he had it up for sale. He didn't want to mess with it, and I ended up with it, not knowing really what the problem was. I got the whole amplifier basically for the price of a tube, which is a 3-500Z, with a spare tube to boot. And the only problem with it was the solder joint on one of the filament connections had failed. It just had gotten too hot. It wasn't properly done in the first place, and so it was just a 5-minute fix, but I haven't powered it up in about 10 years, so I'll bring it up slowly and let the capacitors form, see if it still works. And that, in conjunction with the ICOM 756 Pro, will be my primary sideband station at that point. I'm hoping to get an AM transmitter in that location as well, so I could use that as a secondary satellite station besides this one. So guys, I guess that's it for me, and we'll say 73. Hopefully conditions are a little bit better next week. And Dave, over to you, W6MQI, W6SSP, 73 all.
And W6SSP, W6MQI. Alrighty, Steve, 73. And thanks everybody for the comments on my retirement. Yeah, it's going to be a little getting used to. It's going to be a little used to. And I'm still hearing Rich way out there in Fallon. And Rich, my location is by Alden Lane Nursery. I don't know if you remember where that's at. Alden Lane Nursery. That's where I'm located. But anyway, 73 guys. I know I'm forgetting something here. Look at my notes. I don't know. Anyway, guys, 73, and we'll talk to you guys next week. So over to Bill, N6BCT, W6MQI.
Which really very weak for me on the FQI receiver, but I don't hear him. So anyway, sorry for story. And so pass it back to him. Anyway, thanks. This is VCT.
Robert, W7MKA, Bill turned it over to you. Let's see if we're all going to be able to copy you. W7MKA, go ahead. Okay, I guess propagation got the best of Robert there. So we'll go ahead and close down the net. Thanks everybody for your participation. Lots of good information exchanged today. And we will meet back after I adjust the carrier. Okay. Next Sunday, Chuck will be net control, K0DWC. So with that, everybody have a good week coming up, and we'll hope to hear everybody back next week. 73 all around. This is WA7YBS closing the Vintage Military Radio Net and signing off.
W7MS KE6QK, Shorty.
Go ahead, Rich. W7MS. Good morning again.
You're putting with basic electronics here. The problem with the Ranger when I started, he burned out the front end there. Both of those old transmitters, they put zip cord in there with no fuses. I couldn't source a line cord with fuses. I looked around the internet, and I can't do that. And that lower left corner of the chassis was pretty charred. So I ended up taking out the, I couldn't get, I was getting shorts everywhere, and they had put modifications in there, so I just gave up and stripped it down. I wanted to ask you, how do you check your power transformers? That was a pain in the butt. I pulled that thing out because I didn't know if the power transformer was good. I have a second one, but I ended up stripping it down, which made it a lot of work. How do you check the primary and secondaries, with a DC ohm meter? W7MS KE6QK.
Well, I think you probably answered your own question by doing resistance checks. Of course, it's always great if you have a known good transformer, so you can compare apples. And apples, or find out if you got apples and oranges. But I test two ways here locally. I have a isolation transformer, an RCA isotap, so I can bring up the primary voltage in decade steps. And also, since it's only about a 100-watt load transformer, if there's any short, it's going to just suck down the secondary voltage and give me a chance to make corrections before there's any smoke issues. But and of course, you know, I've got high pot testers too, so I can check both to core, and but that's probably getting a little too complicated. But I guess basic resistance checks on the windings into the transformer frame or core to make sure. But I guess for me, over time, I've just generated swap meet finds where I've got you know, an assortment of bench equipment to maybe really ring them out. And it's always a drag to spend all that time into something and then find out the transformer has issues, and you're starting over, so to speak. W7MS.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, all I could do here once I got the transformer out was to, you know, do the DC checks. You know, look at the primary, look at the secondaries, and there's another one, the Hulk, the really bad piece of crap Ranger. The filter choke was totally open, and I don't know, in my lifetime, I've never seen a power supply where they blew out the filter choke. You know, no conductivity at any high resistance at all. It was just totally open. So, you know, that was a garbage device. The good choke read about 170 ohms, and I said, well, I don't know the value, but that's better than short or open. And the same with the primary on the main transformer. I do have the variac here, which I can bring up old equipment slowly, and so I don't, if I release smoke, it's just a little bit. But I can do that with the transformers also. I can put my variac across the primaries and bring it up and look at the secondaries. Anyway, thank you. I just wanted to, I need help occasionally. The electronics I worked before I retired was all solid state and, you know, ICs and all that. And we're going back to the 60s and 70s. I'm trying to retrain myself here, have fun restoring old equipment. Anyway, thank you, and your signal is always good down here. You're always 20 over solid. I was shocked that Frank up there, with his 350 watts from the top of the Sierra, he was just pumping in here. Oh my goodness, it sounded like he was in my living room. And the band actually held up pretty good for the time change. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week, Mike. W7MSKE6QK. Thank you.
Okay, Rich. Well, thank you, and it's been really great to hear you the past couple of weeks. Glad you've rejoined us. You're sounding great, and I think things are going well in your treatment. Well, I know things are going well. My apologies. It's more than thinking. They are going well, but good luck on the Rangers. Looking forward to hearing them on the air in the near future. And yeah, I enjoy the old stuff too. It'd be quite a challenge at times. Radio archaeology and trying to figure out what previous footprints have been up to. It's a lot of fun, and maybe adding a few of your new ones. Hopefully on the improvement side for all of us when we're doing that. So it's quite a challenge. And fun on the solid state junk. You know, I was a professional module changer, troubleshooter for years as things changed over my work life, and had a nice discussion with my son how starting in the 80s through the 90s into the 2000s, basically it was troubleshooting via either an RS-232 connection, later became an Ethernet connection, and a keyboard, and that's all he knows. I said, at one time there was something called a diddle stick, and you would stick it in something and adjust a level. So he was on, oh yeah, the great analog days, Pops. Yeah, analog, but 7.3's W7MS.
Yeah, okay, thank you again. Yeah, I know what you mean. I was, when I worked at ground electronics here out on the base, up at me, basically was a Motorola technician, for the base radios, FM, and then my other duties, I had 3 radars that I worked on in PM, the old ASR-8, like they had in Reno. They pulled that one. They're all 11s now. But I love working with my hands, and that's why we're restoring this stuff now. Speaking of ASCII, I have the 9.7 FM repeater at Lake Lahontan there, and what happened last weekend, we use a TM71 Victor Kenwood radio that has an Ethernet connection for Echolink. Well, it's down. I worked on it, stopped on the Ranger this week. I was trying to get that back up, and it seems the interface on that FM radio, the computer interface has gone south. So I have a perfectly good FM radio that won't work on the internet. And I have a friend coming over today with the same radio to confirm that failure. Anyway, the health. I still have the side effects from the treatments. But I'll be going up to Reno here starting next month 2 or 3 times. I don't look forward to it, but I have to do it. I have to get shot with the microwaves. Talk to you next week. Thank you for answering my questions. W7MS KE6QK finally clear. Bye-bye.